Hey there everyone, welcome to Lab 9 Sheet 1, the helicopter fuselage. Before we get started, I wanted to just kind of show you the finished part here to see what we're drawing. We're going to be drawing this plastic part here as well as the landing gear. And we're not attaching them or anything like that right now, we're just going to go ahead and draw this, and this is what you'll submit as an isometric view for Lab 9 Sheet 1. So before we get started, I just wanted to point out these planes here we haven't seen before. But basically what you can do in SOLIDWORKS is off of any of the planes that your original planes or the ones you create, if you hold control and click on the plane and drag, it'll allow you to offset that plane by a specified distance. So that's something that we're going to be setting up today, and we're going to be utilizing those planes to create these profiles and then overall this lofted part here. These profiles here correspond to the profiles on the dimension sheet that we have for front plane, plane 1, plane 2, and plane 3. So that's how you're going to go ahead and utilize this dimension sheet here. Let's get started. File, New, Part File. And we're going to be in IPS down in the right hand corner. These dimensions are in inches. And I'm going to go ahead to start out and just show the front plane. Now hold control and click and drag off the plane and offset that by 2 inches. And we're going to do the same exact thing then for planes 1 and planes 2. Now, knowing the dimensions that we need to use on each plane from our document sheet, from our dimension sheet, open up a sketch on plane 1, or I'm sorry, for the front plane, and we're going to come in here and create our, let's see, this is going to be horizontal. I just noticed that I screwed that up a little bit. And there it is. You know, I'm going to delete these, because if you have a 45-degree angle locked in there, it could kind of screw you up later, so we'll delete those now. So this is going to be 4 inches, 1 inch, 1 inch, 2 inches, 2 inches, and 1 inch. And you'll notice as I put that dimension in, now we have a fully defined part or sketch. Now we'll go into plane 1, and what's kind of cool is I can actually, so I opened up a sketch on plane 1, and there's a couple ways I could redraw this profile just like I did and then dimension it, or I can copy the profile from sketch 1 and place it on sketch 2, and then just come in and redimension it after adjusting it to fit it on the origin. So now it'll be 3.5. The whole thing scales down a little bit. We got 1 inch, 2 inches again, 0.77, 1 inch. And what are we missing here? Oh, we are missing our 2-inch vertical. There's that. And plane 2. On this plane, I'm just going to go ahead and draw in what we see. Very similar, let's see, very similar profile in the past as we've used in the past. And you know what? I kind of screwed that up. There we go. That's a little bit better. So now overall dimension here is going to be 2.5. Overall horizontal is going to be 1 inch, 3/4 inch, let's see, going on here? There's that. And I guess it's already 0.5. How did that happen? Oh, because we snapped it right here. You know what? Let's get rid of that and throw a actual dimension on 0.5. What had happened was I had accidentally snapped it to the midpoint of one of these other sketches. So we want to reference everything in the sketch that we're actually drawing in right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete that midpoint relation, and we'll go from there. Now let's see. Last but not least, this will be 1.5 inches. Click OK. And the final profile sketch we're doing here. And you'll notice if you look at this drawing that it actually starts 0.77 inches above the origin. So that's a little bit different than we've done with the last three. So to start that, I'm going to just create a starting point for myself using a center line. And that's going to be 0.77 up. Just like that. And using that, I'm going to now draw the profile. And again, this is the same style of profile that we had used in the past. Now from the very top to the origin, we're looking at 1.5 inches. And if something like that happens, that's okay. Just drag it back up to approximately the shape that we're looking for. And horizontally, we got 0.5 inch. .15. And 0.25. And then we are missing something here. This is going to be 0.275. That's that. And now what are we missing here? At the top. Oh, the overall should have done that, but let's see here. Let's see, what else are we missing? 0.275, 0.15, 0.25, 0.5. Let's try this. All right. There it is. All right. Now let me check those dimensions one more time, actually, because this doesn't seem, I don't remember that being in there. Let me throw this back on. Give me that one. There we go. I guess those are just a vertical relationship there, and everything works out. Vertical. There we go. Yeah. So you could throw a dimension on, just go vertical, and there you go. All right. So at this point, I generally will turn my planes off, and then up in my features tab, features ribbon, we're going to click lofted boss base. Now, for this, it allows you to loft a feature or an extrude between profiles, just like that. But be careful, and when you start with one of these points, I mean, you can start on this side one here if you want, or the bottom one. Just keep them coming straight down, because if you go ahead and change the point that you're selecting to do this loft, it'll start twisting the part. If you click on a wrong one, it's okay. Just come up to your window over here on the left and delete that selection, and then just come in and make the correct selection. And from there, we have the first half of our helicopter fuselage. Now, we want to mirror this part across the right plane and bodies to mirror loft. Click check mark, and now we have the overall profile for our helicopter. At this point, on the back, select the back and click shell up in our features tab. shell that to 0.1 thickness. And from there, we are going to just do some selecting here and create a fillet. So there's going to be 8 lines on the inside that you select. Plus the face. These top ones you don't. Those are just basically tangent essentially. And 8 on the outside plus the nose. And you'll see once we select our fillet tool, oh, there it is, geez. And we'll fillet everything to 0.3 inches. Click OK. And there it is. There is our piece for their plastic piece, the beginning of it. So at this point, go ahead and click Control 4 for right view, or spacebar and select right view from the orientation menu. And we're going to open up a sketch on the right plane. And we're going to do a cutout for our engine components. So once we have this triangle drawn, I've drawn an arbitrary triangle around this whole section of an oversized arbitrary triangle over this whole section of the fuselage. And then drill into your loft and show, after selecting them, click the eyeball, sketches 1 and 2. And we're going to use the points of those sketches to snap our triangle 2, just like that. And we can go ahead and just define that, just give it a nice height. That'll give it fully defined. And features, extruded cut. Now to do this, I'm going to use through all both. And there it is. Now we can turn off those sketches. So at this point, we're pretty close to having the entire plastic piece done. We just need to have these standoffs installed. So how we're going to do that, on plane 1, create a sketch. And I'm going to do Control 2 gives you a rear view. So just do Control 2. And out here on the side, I'm going to draw 2 concentric circles. And I'm going to make sure that those have the concentric relationship. That way I can move them around together. So go ahead and copy that. And actually we have 2 sets of concentric circles. Now using your dimension sheet, from the origin, dimension a horizontal and a vertical distance for those. So vertically we got 1/2 inch and 2.5 inches. And horizontally we have 0.75 and 1. There we go. Now let's see. I'm going to go in here and actually, you know what? Delete the outer circle, because the dimension we have is for the diameter of this screw hole, which is 0.25. And then what we're going to have to do is offset that by 0.1. So offset that by 0.1. Click OK. And we're going to do, oopsies, we're going to do the same thing right there. Now, from this point, everything's fully defined. And we can see here that there's a draft of 3 degrees outwards. And that's so that we could pull this out of a mold. So what we're going to do is do Features, Extrude Boss Base, and then click this Draft On Off button at 3 degrees. And we're going to make this up to next. Oh, you know what? We got to click Draft Outwards at 3 degrees. There we go. And click OK. And there we have it. So from there, we can go ahead and click our boss extrude, and we can mirror that across the right plane. Now we have the entire plastic piece of the fuselage done. So at this point, we're going to do the landing gear. And let's go, let's do a, I don't know, just kind of rotate it around the back here a little bit. And go into Sketch, drop down, and grab a 3D sketch. So depending on which video you watch first, this may be the first time that you see this. So when we grab a 3D sketch, it's kind of like being able to draw on any plane that you want at any given time. So I'm going to show you how we can create a three-dimensional profile or a three-dimensional path, and then we can create a profile along that path and extrude out the landing gear. So starting at the origin, I'm going to grab my line tool, and we are in the XY plane. So see this these axes right here. This is the X and this is the Y. So that means I can draw anywhere in that plane. And you'll see I've just been drawing as if I was right there on the front plane. Now, giving myself an ISO again, if I go back into my line tool and I click Tab, now I'm in the YZ plane. So that's anywhere in this plane here. So if I go back to the XY, now it's like I'm drawing, oopsies, let me click this, Tab to the XY, and now it's like I'm drawing back on the right plane. So the YZ in this drawing right now is going to be more like our right plane, and the XY is going to be more like our front plane. So let's use that knowledge to go ahead and create this landing gear.